Hi, this is the Love Guru Blaire. I'm a spiritual teacher, an intuitive heart healer, and I'm also trained as a marriage and family therapist. And today I wanted to talk to you about something very serious. I wanted to talk to you about violence. Now, before you go turning off this video and saying, hey, I'm not a violent person, why does this video pertain to me? I want to encourage you to keep watching it and please have an open mind and then make decisions after you watch this video, after you hear what I have to share, and just be open to the possibilities. I was inspired to do this video because, I was inspired to do this video a couple of days ago because typically the topic of violence is not something that interests me either. But a couple of days ago, I was at a sports bar and I was watching a basketball game. And as that game was coming to a close, the Ultimate Fighting Championship was coming on. And this is basically just two guys fighting one another in a ring. And I might have maybe heard about this thing before, but I haven't been around it. And this was the first time that I was actually seeing it on TV. And I stayed for a little bit and I just thought it was like absolutely barbaric. But what surprised me was the guy at the bar that I was talking to said, hey, you know, this bar is usually empty and you see all these people here. Well, they're all here for this fighting championship. They love it. And I said, really, isn't this interesting? You know, maybe a week, 2 weeks ago, I don't remember now, maybe 2 weeks ago, we just had this Newtown shooting. And this was a mass shooting of children, very violent act. And our society deemed that as terrible, which, yes, of course, that was a terrible thing. It was an act of violence. But here we are, maybe a week later, 2 weeks later, whatever it was. I don't remember the time lapse, this date of this event. But here we are 2 weeks later, and now we have a bunch of men and women cheering on to have more violence on TV, this Ultimate Fighting Championship. Now, of course, we can go into a debate. You know, that was a murder of children, and this is men who want to be doing it, and this is how it's a controlled environment, and blah, blah, blah. Like, this is not about going into a debate with you. Again, remember what I said in the beginning of this video? Please keep an open mind. The idea here is that these are both acts of violence. Now, we in our society tend to compartmentalize things. We tend to say, oh, well, this violence is bad, but oh, this violence is okay. And I'm suggesting here today that there is no difference between the two, because in the end, violence is violence. So what I'm suggesting for you to start today and for the next 7 days is to join me on this 7-day violence detox. And whenever you're watching this video is a great time to start. There's no certain date that we're all doing this, but this is a call to action for everyone to be starting and doing this when you watch the video right now. Now, what does this mean? What is a 7-day violence detox? Well, we all want peace in our society now. We all want, which this is something that we've always wanted, but as you see that these events, what's happening is our society is becoming more and more violent. Overall, we're a pretty violent society. But what has happened is that since we're around it all the time, different forms of violence, which I'm going to get into that, is that we get desensitized to it. So it doesn't affect us like it would, for example, like me. This was the first time that I was seeing this fighting championship. I'm not really aware of it. And it was like, oh my God, this is kind of barbaric to me. Again, the first time I'm seeing it. So that's what happens with all of us. When we first see acts of violence, we go into the thought that, oh my God, this is bad, or this is wrong, or this is violent, or I should not be around this. But when we're constantly around violence, like I said, we get desensitized to it. We don't even notice it. So first off, let me go into what this 7-day detox is. For the next 7 days, I want to encourage you, actually after this video, to start, or even during this video, to start thinking about how you're surrounding yourself with violence, or how you are a violent person, because you know what? We all have our light side and we all have our dark side. And the dark side is that violence. But the idea here which really, this is a movement, because if we want violence to stop, it has to stop with us. If we want peace, more peace to be happening, it needs to start with us. So start thinking about how you're letting violence into your life, how you are desensitized to violence in your life. Now, let me give you some examples. Very popular shows are this CSI and Law and Order, and any of these like crime shows, or these killing shows. These are the most popular shows on TV. We have Dexter, and you know what? The thing is these shows are very entertaining, and I used to watch them, and I used to enjoy them. Not Dexter, but I used to watch Law and Order. But then it dawned on me, I had this awareness, and that's what this video is for, to bring on more awareness for you, and then also for you to be passing this on and be sharing it with others, which is something else that I'll get to here. But, I had this awareness that, this is violent TV that I'm watching, and I don't want this violence in my life, or I want to lessen it, because I don't want to be programming my mind with these things, and I want to be more of a loving person. So this is violence, it's upsetting, I'm not going to watch it anymore. So I stopped watching all shows, and then also all movies that are violent. That's it. I just don't go to them. And what happens? Well, if you're not watching this stuff, you're not feeding your brain, you're also not supporting the industry, and you're not becoming desensitized to it. That's another thing of also when I went out to the bar and I was seeing this violent thing, and this is not me picking on the Ultimate Fighting Championship. This is me sharing about violence in general in our society, and this would just happen to be the thing that inspired me to move to action. So the whole idea is to be bringing back the humanness into you so that you're accurately kind of getting it and feeling those feelings, because feelings are good, feeling those feelings that when we see something of an act of violence, then that becomes totally wrong. It becomes unacceptable in our society, and it becomes a thing that we're not even thinking of doing that stuff. So that could be one thing. Maybe you see that you're watching the news and that's violent and you don't want to be watching that anymore. Or you see that you're watching Law and Order and CSI and Dexter and other shows that are violent like this, and you don't want that in your life. Well, then you take the detox from that. Again, I'm just suggesting 7 days here, just to try it for 7 days to have that experience. Maybe it's a thing that you find that you curse a lot, or that you find that cursing is violent, and that's what you want to eliminate from your life. So then go do that. Detox that for 7 days and see how that feels and have that experience. We also, other forms of violence is like when we gossip about somebody, when we talk bad about somebody. We should really be minding our own business, and if we're talking about somebody else, it should be positive. But you see how that's like a weird thought? Like if you're going about your day and you're speaking positively about everybody, it's kind of weird. Somebody might think that you're just not a real person if you're talking positive about everybody when you open your mouth and actually talk about somebody. Because we're so used to gossip in our society. We're so used to putting people down. Again, these are acts of violence. Maybe you're committing acts of violence to yourself. Many people do this. When you put yourself down, or you call yourself a loser, or you say that you're stupid, or that you'll never be successful, or that you aren't successful. These are all acts of violence towards yourself. So things like this, they need to stop. Violence needs to stop in all areas of our lives. And this is not about you deciding for somebody else what is violent for them and telling them like, hey, you do this, you have road rage, and that's violence, and you should not be doing that. Well, that is not for us to be telling other people. This is for us to be looking at ourselves. Maybe we're holding on to anger or resentment, or we're judging people. Again, this is all acts of violence. So this is about purifying ourselves, purifying our thoughts, purifying our actions, so that we are no longer, or we are less and less of a violent society. Because it's very easy to look at other people. Oh, they should change the gun laws, and the government should be doing this or that. There should be censorship or whatever. But I'm going to encourage you again to be looking at yourself, because peace starts with yourself. When we become more peaceful as a society and as people, if I become more peaceful and I share that energy with you, well, the world becomes more peaceful. And then you do it for yourself, and then you pass it on. And this becomes a ripple effect. So, you might have noticed, well, more and more violent things are happening in our lives. We had the Batman shooting not too long ago. Then we had this Newtown massacre as well. Well, these are major events. There was a stabbing. I'm not really so up on all of the news. I think that was like in China or Hong Kong or something like that. There was a guy with a knife stabbing people. These are more extreme things. Now, why are these happening? Well, one of the reasons from a spiritual perspective is to wake us up. To wake us up, to be like, we're living in a violent society. And hey, we're desensitized to it. So you know what? The universe or spirit or God is going to keep raising the bar to show us the more violence and more violence and more extreme violence until we're awakened, until we're aware of what's going on. And for me, I'm at this point now, and that's why I was motivated and inspired to make this video, because again, like I shared earlier, this is not something I normally talk about. This is not normally my thing. But now it is. Now it is. So let's talk about this 7-day detox. By now you probably have some idea of what is violent act that you're committing. Also maybe you're playing video games and they're violent and you want to maybe detox this. Again, the challenge is just to do it for 7 days. So for right now, for today, bring awareness to what is violent. What are you doing what are you allowing that is violent in your life right now? And then it might be several things. Most likely it's several things. So you could write this down, or you could just have it in your mind. But then I'm going to encourage you to mark your calendar for the next 7 days and detox that out. Try to not do the activity and have that experience for just 7 days. See how it changes your life. When I removed my TV access, when I canceled my TV subscription, and I stopped watching TV, at first it was a little bit strange, but then it became the best thing that I ever did. Because you think clearer, and you're happier, and you're less around that anxiety. That's the other benefit. When we detox ourselves from the violence, we have less anxiety in our system as well. We have less anxiety and we have less fear. So again, that's contributing to more peace in the world. So it's about taking care of ourselves, which then affects other people, which takes care of the world. Now, I know that you're probably working on personal goals. Maybe you're looking to lose weight in this new year. We're right here, it's New Year's. So I know that you're probably setting a resolution to be losing weight, or to be finding love, or to be improving your relationship, or to be making more money, or finding your life path this year, or doing better in your career, or whatever that personal goal is. And that's awesome. And I encourage you to keep that and to still go for it. But I also want to encourage you to take on one of these world goals, because not only do we have a responsibility to be making our dreams come true, we also have a responsibility to be making this world a better place, to be leaving our mark on the world, and to be affecting other people. So this goes into that humanity goal of changing the world. So here's where I need your help, and here's where I want to encourage you to help spread the word, because this is not something that I can spread on my own. I am just one person, and I need your help to be passing the word about this 7-day violence detox. The more people that watch this video and the more people that wake up to the violence that is in their lives on a daily basis, the more that we can usher in more peace and happiness into our lives. And again, this affects all of us. So this is about taking responsibility for the life that we're experiencing right now, rather than putting the blame on other people. They're doing this or that's happening, or this person should take care of it, the government or gun control or mental health services or whatever. This is again about taking responsibility and doing an action today to be making a difference in the world today. So please share this video in email, send it to your friends. Please share this in Facebook, share it along. Help awaken other people. Please share it on Twitter and get the word out. And then, because also, if you're a spiritual person watching this and say you're dedicated to waking people up, bringing in more awareness and enlightenment, this is not about a spiritual message for just spiritual people. This is about everybody in the world. This is a message for everyone in the world to help wake up more people to the violence that's surrounding us every day. So again, please share it. Then to do the 7-day detox, I'm going to encourage you to then blog about your experience every single day, or post updates on Facebook every single day about how you are detoxing from the violence in your life, or Twitter updates every single day for the 7 days. It's not a big commitment. You could just do one post a day to be sharing, hey, I'm taking this 7-day violence detox, and this is what I noticed about myself today, or this is what I'm detoxing today. This is very important. And this is a thing that when you're posting, other people are noticing. And then they're going to be wondering, well, what is this person doing? So again, spread the word. And if you want to be making videos, then make videos about it. Because, again, spread the word. This is not something for us to just be taking in ourselves and doing ourselves. We need to pass it on to spiritual people, non-spiritual people, everybody. And on Twitter, if you want to do a hashtag, I'm going to start doing that. I'm not so big on this tech stuff, but for Twitter, use the hashtag violence detox when you're posting. So then we could read one another's posts and start a conversation, and again, spread the word and bring awareness into the world. So thank you for listening. I look forward to doing the 7-day detox, violence detox. I'm going to be starting this today as well. And I look forward to hearing what you're discovering about your life and what I could learn from you about how I could further detox my life from violence as well. So thanks for listening. I wish you the best in love. Bye-bye.